Last year marked the 20th anniversary since the initial serialization of Liar Game, and this is its first TV anime adaptation. How did you feel when you were approached about the anime adaptation?
To be honest, I felt a strange feeling, thinking, is it being animated at this timing? Since the live-action drama version was very well received in the past, I thought it would be difficult to produce an anime, and that whoever adapted it into a new visual format would have to be mindful of the drama version. However, when I heard that the chief director of the anime was Yuzo Sato, and the production company was Madhouse, the same team behind One Outs, I was really happy. I really liked the One Outs anime, so I was confident that I could completely entrust the project to them.
Once the anime project actually got underway, did the production side propose anything regarding the direction of the work or how to present it to the fans?
The production side was very particular about the character designs. Every time their drawings came to me, they asked repeatedly about my preferences for the designs. They were very considerate, but honestly, I thought, you don't have to be so considerate of me. So I told them many times, this design is fine.
To explain about that, this is true for all creators, but the art style of a manga changes quite a bit from the beginning of serialization to the later stages. I think the art style of Mr. Kaitani's current serialization, Kamonegi, also gives a different impression compared to the early days of Liar Game. Because of that, I believe the anime production side was concerned about which period's design of Now and Akiyama the author preferred.
I see, that makes sense. That's certainly a valid point. However, my art style, as was the case with One Outs, changes quite a bit between the first and last episodes, so there's nothing that can be done about that. As the author, no matter which period's design is chosen, I feel it deviates from my image of my own art. That's why I thought it would be best to leave it up to the anime production side to do as they like.
Did you ever request retakes from the anime side?
No, I didn't. It was the same with the drama adaptation. I am a manga specialist, not an expert in anime or drama. Therefore, I believe I can't compete with the professionals in those fields, and in that regard, I fully trust all the staff members.
Did you take the same stance regarding the anime's scenario and storyboard?
Yes. There was only one point. The anime side asked to confirm if it was okay to set the stage more in the present day, for example, by including items like smartphones. At that time, I told them, please go ahead and do that. That was really the only thing. There was nothing I wanted them to fix in the anime production. Even after watching the completed anime, there was nothing in particular that bothered me.
Did you have any requests before production started?
At the first meeting, I told the anime production team that I didn't want them to make it with the live-action drama version of Liar Game in mind. The drama version is very appealing, but since it was being adapted into an anime, I wanted it to have a distinctly anime-style presentation. In that sense, it was good that the musical direction was completely different. The drama version's image was shaped by music from Yasutaka Nakata, but the anime's theme song has established its own unique style as an anime, and I thought that was cool too. The drama's music was really intense, with striking music and sounds whenever something happened, which was great. On the other hand, the anime is calm and subdued. Since my manga is also quite subdued, I felt the anime version was made closer to the original work.
How was the character Kanzaki Now, the protagonist, created?
When the serialization of Liar Game started in the mid-2000s, I remember that in Japan there was an increase in opinions like, the one who gets deceived is also at fault, especially regarding fraud cases. Seeing such opinions, I felt, that's not right, and that was the trigger for creating Kanzaki Now.
This was also the time when the so-called self-responsibility theory became stronger in Japan, right?
Yes, I really dislike the idea that the deceived party is also at fault. That's why I wanted to create a story where the straightforward person who ends up being deceived is actually the strongest. That's why I decided to draw this work.
With this anime adaptation, the theme of deceiving and being deceived will be posed to the world once again. Do you feel any significance in that?
As I just mentioned, I really think a world where deceiving is advantageous is not good. Kanzaki Now is deceived many times in this game, but on the other hand, she gains great trust because she was deceived. Nowadays, cost performance and time performance tend to be emphasized, right? Not just in deceiving people, but I feel that modern people, especially young people, are too obsessed with efficiency. But I think the world is not just that.
At first glance, Kanzaki now seems to be living clumsily and losing out. But is that really the case? I hope everyone will watch her future unfold in the anime.
I think now is still on the side of being deceived, but looking ahead, could you tell us about her charm and points you want people to pay attention to?
Going forward, Kanzaki now gains a certain realization through Akiyama's words. She gets a hint from Akiyama about the true meaning of trust. That becomes a turning point, and she gradually grows. So I hope you will watch until the very end.
Then, how about Shinichi Akiyama?
During the serialization of Liar Game, I myself was sometimes seen as a sharp person. But in reality, I am the type who gets deceived, just like Kanzaki now. That's why I admire the smart people who skillfully navigate the world, and Akiyama was purely drawn as that ideal. It's the same with Toa Tokuchi from my other manga, One Outs, but I often depict the main characters as objects of admiration.
I think Akiyama's coolness will come out more in the future. Please tell us about his charm and highlights.
What I strongly admire about him is that no matter how cornered he gets, he never gives up. He keeps searching for a winning path until the very last moment. Many people would give up halfway when cornered, but Akiyama does not. That attitude is very cool and is one of his reliable points. Also, regarding his relationship with Kanzaki now, Akiyama was once deeply distrustful of people, but by relying on her, he gradually regains the feeling of trusting others. I want people to pay attention to their relationship as well.
How did you find the performances of Saya Hitomi, who voiced Now, and Takeo Otsuka, who voiced Akiyama?
Neither of them felt out of place at all. I've heard that many manga artists draw while imagining the characters' voices. I also imagined voices while drawing during serialization, but since some time had passed after the serialization ended, I didn't really remember what kind of voice I had imagined. But when I saw the anime characters, my memory was overwritten with, I think this was the voice. Their voices fit the characters that well.
Why was the 100 million yen battle chosen as the first game in the manga Liar Game?
Originally, the first game I thought of was Minority Vote, and I plan to start the new serialization of Liar Game from there. However, starting a Minority Vote game with a large number of people right away would be too unrealistic for a manga, right? Besides, now Kanzaki wouldn't stick her neck into such a dangerous world on her own. This manga is about now Kanzaki entering as an unusual presence among people who want to gain by deceiving others. For that, a story that involves her in that world first was necessary, and the first game, 100 million yen battle, was born from that flow. Then, it was scheduled to be published as a one-shot prelude in the magazine, titled 100 million yen battle in 2 parts. But suddenly, the editorial department told me, let's redo the 100 million yen battle in 5 or 6 episodes. That remains a mystery even now. I really don't know why it happened. I would even like to ask those involved at the time why it turned out that way.
So that's how it happened. In the 100 million yen battle, Now faces off against her mentor, Kazuo Fujisawa-sensei. Fujisawa-sensei was quite a distinctive character too.
Actually, Professor Fujisawa's model is the horse racing trainer Kazuo Fujisawa himself. Trainers are generally called sensei as well. The face in the drawing is also quite close to the real person. I love horse racing, and many characters in Liar Game have names related to horse racing. Shinichi Akiyama is one of them. I introduced Fujisawa-sensei as an important opponent who appears early on, choosing my favorite trainer, but I ended up making him a villain and regretted it quite a bit later. He really is a wonderful trainer.
In the anime, voice actor Nobuo Tobita played him, right?
It was a very wonderful performance. When Kanzaki now went to Fujisawa-sensei's house, there's a scene where he makes a phone call and his betrayal is revealed, right? His tone of voice at that moment was really great. The contrast between Fujisawa-sensei's usual way of speaking and his changed voice was brilliant.
If there are any other scenes in Liar Game that left an impression on you, please tell us about them.
It's been quite a while since the manga serialization ended, so even when I watched the anime, I had forgotten many of the details. It felt like I was watching someone else's work. When I was serializing One Outs, the anime adaptation came about 2 years after the end, so I remembered the content quite well. However, because the gap between the end of serialization and the anime adaptation was short for One Outs, I felt a bit embarrassed, like someone reading an essay I wrote yesterday. When I was in elementary school, my essay was praised and read over the school broadcast, and it was exactly the same feeling. I'm from Kagoshima, so I usually speak in the Kagoshima dialect. But when writing essays, I generally write in standard Japanese, right? So people around me would look at me with a smirk. The anime of 1 Ounce gave me a similar feeling. So I was bracing myself to feel the same way with Liar Game, but it didn't happen at all. In other words, enough time had passed for me to be able to look at the work from a detached perspective. Because of that, I was able to watch the anime version with peace of mind, as if I were watching someone else's work.
Please also introduce your currently serialized manga, Kamanegi, and Liar Game, The Last Game. First, how did Kamanegi, which is based on economics, come about?
I started Kamanegi because I felt that the current economic society's values of people who make money are great and those who get deceived are at fault had become intolerable to me. I began serialization with a desire to challenge such trends in Japanese society.
Kamonegi is based on real fraud cases, isn't it? Do you come up with such ideas together with Mr. Takeshi Natsuhara, who provides the story concepts?
Basically, the ideas come from Mr. Natsuhara. We have manga meetings every time, but those are like study sessions where Mr. Natsuhara explains the logic to me, and I learn from him. I believe the key to the manga is whether we can present realistic themes that closely reflect reality, so Mr. Natsuhara greatly helps with the research and groundwork.
How can people avoid being deceived by fraud?
That's something I've been asked a lot since the serialization of Liar Game. As I mentioned earlier, I'm similar to Kanzaki now myself, so I don't really know. Kamonegi is also a manga I draw to avoid being deceived myself, so I'm still exploring that issue.
Last Game started as a short-term concentrated serialization. Could you tell us why you began it?
Not only with Liar Game, but I believe my manga works never truly end and continue on. The same goes for 1 Ounce and the Sommelier series I serialized before that. They just happen to be on a break after a certain arc ends, but essentially all are ongoing stories. For me, Liar Game is not finished at all. However, it is necessary to put a pause or a break somewhere in a work. Conversely, I think works can always be resumed, and there is no such thing as a work that is completely finished and I will never draw this manga again. So I want readers to think of my manga as manga that will start again when the author wants to draw it. Since Liar Game is a story that will continue in the future, it was resumed as the sequel Last Game, timed with the anime adaptation.
I think some people will reread the original manga because of the anime adaptation, and for those who have already read it, it's nice to be able to read the manga from where it left off.
I myself like works where I can imagine the continuation even after the manga is complete. I draw manga for readers like myself, so even if I say the story is finished for now, I want to keep the manga in a state where you never know when the continuation will start. Every manga has a final episode, but it's not strange if I'm that. I usually read manga with that feeling, so I want my works to be like that too.